You see the leaderboard there. Fitzpatrick in that group. That includes Harris English. The American at one point did have the solo lead at 5 over par, back down to 4. And it's the second instance in Open Championship history that we have 5 more players tied for first after round 1. The last time it happened was 1938. Hey there, folks. I'm Tommy Tran, now joined by our golf analyst, Rick Gehman. So, Rick, we had a lengthy day of golf. A lot of guys had to get things done. If we focus on that cluster of guys that were 4 under par, Matthew Fitzpatrick coming in pre-tournament 50-1, an excellent Thursday. What stood out to you?
Yeah, well, first off, Tommy, you're absolutely right. 10 hours worth of tee time, 6-hour rounds, basically a 16-hour day of golf, and we just could not get past that 4 under par number. It was posted early as the lead, and every time it looked like somebody was going to be able to extend and get to 5 under, they would immediately come back to the field. For Matt Fitzpatrick, this is a continuation of what we've seen from him over the course of the last 3 starts. Now, this has been a very sour year for 2025 for Matt Fitzpatrick. He'll be the first to tell you that he's been very much in a slump, but he's starting to work out of it. We have seen him put together some really good finishes at the Scottish Open and recent starts in some bigger fields, where when you get to this style of play, Tommy, it's less about the mechanics and more about the artistry. And I think that allows Matt Fitzpatrick to really kind of turn his brain off to the things that he's been struggling with, go out there and play some golf that you're familiar with. And it's obviously a very good start here to be part of that lead pack.
Yep, we're taking a look at his best opening round at a major. It's right up there with, of course, the one that he won in 2022. Let's get to some other big names here. I mentioned Scottie Scheffler. Doesn't often play the week before a major, but he did play the Scottish Genesis Open there. Rick, what did you make of Scottie Scheffler's day? Vest or no vest?
Yeah, he's always taking it off, putting it back on. He can never decide. He did not hit a lot of fairways, Tommy. He did not drive it particularly well, but he was able to make the most out of his rounds either way. I find his distance control with his second shots to be the best in the world by a pretty significant margin, and that was on full display in the opening round of the Open Championship. He hit a couple of weak putts early in his round, and then I thought as the day went on, he found the speed on the putting surfaces a little better, and he did exactly what he always does, Tommy. I feel like I tell you this every single day. Oh, he finished strong. He finished with 2 birdies in his final 3 holes. It always seems like Scottie Scheffler finishes his rounds on a high note as opposed to giving one back to the field late. So a really great start here. He's looking for, this would be his 3rd different type of major championship. It would be his 4th in total if he was able to get the job done, but obviously 54 holes is a long way to go.
You know, he had a lot of interesting comments leading up to the tournament. One of them also is he generally has the 2 wedges, 56 and 60, when he's stateside. He's brought a few more over to play links golf. Where are you at with him and his involvement in terms of learning links golf and using those wedges around the green?
Yeah, so he's kind of a field player as well. You can just see that in his swing, right? He's got footwork like nobody else in the world. And when you are playing links style golf, I mean, the turf is very different. We hear guys talk about that all the time, and having to choose which wedge you're using to get really deep into it, the type of grind on those wedges, it's just a feel thing, and it's just an experience thing, Tommy. You just have to go and do it. You cannot fake it out there. You cannot get it in a simulator. You cannot practice it in the States. So the evolution of his links game it's happening fast. It's a steep learning curve, but Scottie and Ted Scott on his bag, they're both very, very good at learning and putting things into play immediately. So it's been impressive the way he's been able to do it.
What do we think of the homecoming for Rory McIlroy today?
I think the 8th hole was the first time he hit a fairway. He was obviously very jacked up. You know, the tee shot that he hit on number 1, probably one of the most anticipated tee shots of his life after making an 8 there in 2019 and basically destroying his chances of winning in 2019 on the first hole. Ends up getting out of there with a bogey, but I like that he immediately turned it around and bounced back and got that birdie on 2, Tommy. It felt like a really good way for Rory to hit his stride, and while he did make some some bogeys around the turn and on the second 9. It's not the end of the world. The second 9 played twice as difficult as the front 9 did. He was able to salvage and claw one back on 17 with the birdie there. Any score under par was splendid around Royal Portrush, and I think that Rory now has some of the jitters, some of the nerves, some of the anticipation behind him. It should be full throttle ahead from here on forward.
And of course, he's certainly not rocking that particular haircut this week at Royal Portrush there. Xander Schauffele just plugging along, doing what Xander does. I know I keep asking you how far removed can we start talking about the rib or not talking about the rib, but obviously he's an Open champion there, the defending one. What did you make of his day on Thursday?
Yeah, he held it together. I thought that his tee time, and again, we saw 3 or 4 different weather patterns over the course of the day. I thought that he kind of played in the worst of it. It was raining throughout his round. There were times where it was pouring, and then that stopped, and it got a little bit windy, and he wasn't out there, but when he was done by the time the sun came out. So it was just a lot going on. I thought Xander held it together, and I thought he did a really good job around the putting surfaces. I saw him hit a variety of chips and pitches that you do not have to play in America, but you have to play when you get to links style golf. And I thought Xander answered those tests. And even par round of 71, it's not breaking par, but it's 2 shots better than the field average. He knows that this is not going to be won on a Thursday. You win this thing on Sunday, and he's kept himself in it.
He is as consistent gets, the Maid's cut streak, all that good stuff. And again, in majors, he tends to do well. That's not the case for Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, what happened today? There was the whiff on the baseball swing in the nasty stuff, but that is a scorecard, Rick. I believe just the second round in his major career of no birdie putts for Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah, that's the shocking part because he has such firepower. I don't think it's super surprising that he struggles at links style golf. This is something that this has been going on his entire career. Bryson is not an artist, and he works very hard to be the mechanic, to take every variable out of his game and just be completely technical. The problem is that doesn't work here. There's just so many different types of shots with so many different types of lies. The baseball swing that you're referring to, Tommy, takes him 2 hacks at it to move the ball 8 yards in total, and that's a huge problem because all of his clubs are the same length. He can't choke down as much as he would like to because they're all the same length. They're bent completely upright. It's an impossible shot for him. It's a completely impossible shot for him, and there's a lot of those situations. So barring some miracle, Bryson is not going to be around on the weekend. It is surprising because he's one of the best players in the world, but in this type of golf, this style of play, it's really not surprising at all.
Came into the tournament with top 5 shortest odds, and it'll be a struggle for him to make it to the weekend with that 7/78. Rick Gehman, certainly appreciate it. Thank you for the update of what we saw in round 1 of the Open Championship. We just showed you the highlights. We've got all the highlights here on CBS Sports HQ, and we're streaming it for free 24/7.